around 2002, I was living in Long Island. Around 16, got heavily involved, no, 14 actually, involved in the rave scene. 16, I started doing my own events. I was troubled with addiction when I was younger, kind of a garbage head at raves, landed in my first rehab at 14, and then was in and out of treatment centers, rehabs, from 14 till about 21. And then that was when I decided that it was not a good environment for me anymore. My father was living here at the time. I decided to come to Tucson in 2002. So yeah, and I've been here since. Right after 2002, or 2001, I forget the timeline, but they were doing a lot of desert parties here. I heard all about it. Everyone was like, yeah, go out to the desert. It's awesome out there. You'll be fine. I come out here, it was like crickets, man. There was a record store actually right next door to here called Harvest Season. And I went in there one day to buy records. I was probably here for like 2 or 3 days. And I met Clay Steele, DJ Clay Steele. He was my first DJ friend, and he was like, hey, I'm doing an event like tomorrow, do you want to play? So how things come full circle, that event was in this patio of Bar Passe, the little study covered patio over there. And back then it was called Idle Cafe. We showed up with our Technique 1200s and played out of one JBL, jungle drum and bass, and then he and I became very, very close at that time. So I started to do events with Ricardo and Ramon, who owned Harvest Season. The first one that we did is I booked DJ Soul Slinger because I knew him from New York. We did it at Congress, and it was good, because there was kind of a dry spell, and we did that. And then I went to a rave in March, the March that I moved here, called Reflections, and that was the same production companies who did the Earth Dance parties. So I got connected with them, and then I was playing and helping with Earth Dance with Clay, and then we had an MC, Sean Harris. He would go with us, and then we decided to form this kind of collective DJ boy band, called AZONE, as one. And we started playing raves in Phoenix and here, and there was a nice little boost at that time around 2003. And then it built up here. There was another promoter here doing a lot of underground parties. This was probably around 2005, 2007. And there was a strong underground rave scene here. Then Ronnie and I met at, it was called Snakes at a Rave. It was out where they do Earth Dance out off Trico and Mansville out there, way out there. And I met Ronnie Speece, Ronnie Hardcase from Fat Entertainment. We did our first drum and bass show at Deviate, and it was a bust. I think it was like a Wednesday night, and 10 people came. So it was a little discouraging. But then we just kept doing it, and our relationship built. We started doing more and more events at Rialto, at Congress, at Level, at Solar Culture, all these places. We were doing stuff all the time. There were these tours that would come through, and they had their own production. Everything would come on a U-Haul and a bus, and we would just spearhead it. So it was hard to get used to that, because you're used to coordinating everything. Around 2009 to now, the underground culture that was here has kind of become a little more polished and mainstream. more of a college audience than underground culture to me. I mean, fucking Red Bull, you know, sponsors stuff, and which is great. I mean, it's what, like, me coming from the 90s, it's what we always dreamed and wanted. But I think that it's not exactly what we wanted. Now I'm happy to be doing stuff with like Tang at Good Vibe, with Christian, stuff here at Passe that's more away from the big concert hall with stacks and flashy lights. I mean, we still have that, but it's different. It's got a vibe behind it again, and it's really made my heart feel really good this past year. What we're trying to do and what the focus is to gain some consistency. Starting in January, I have it scheduled for every Friday night there to be underground electronic music here. So I love Tucson. You know, it's mellowed me out, and it's opened up my creativity to a place where I don't think I'd be able to have the space that I need in New York to be as creative as I am. You know, the open sky, the open spaces, the weather, the people here. I'm surrounded by art. No matter where I go, art just like pours into me here in Tucson. And it was there in New York. It's just, it was so saturated and so in your face and so busy and too much to do all at once that it was hard to like escape to work, you know. And as an artist, you know, we need our little like dungeons or places that we can kind of retract from. But I think it's beautiful, man. And now we've all formed relationships. Elio hits me up on Messenger and talks to me. Tang, I talk to a lot. Christian as well. You know, and my homie Gast, like, he kind of introduced me to them. Yeah, I think it was last year around this time I started doing this daytime thing here, and Tang was one of the first people I had play. Christians played here. We did the pre-party for Good Vibe Get Down here. It was the first time we utilized a space like that, where we had a stage in the back patio and a stage up front. And then that was a great time and a long week, because we started, you know, here, and then it was the next weekend out there in Cowtown. Yeah, I think it's great, man. And what I love about it is the culture that's behind it, you know, that it's focused on art, it's focused again on sharing, on love and compassion, and it's away from like these big ticket item, you know, stage production concerts, which that's all great. I mean, I saw Bonobo at Rialto and it was incredible, you know, but it's away from just that kind of, I don't know, I'd hate to talk shit, but I'm going to, frat boy, bro-y, douchebaggy, fucking, where they don't even know what the hell is happening, and they're just there because it's the cool thing that all of their friends are doing, and the girls, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's refreshing, to say the least, that it's happening, and I'm just glad to help and share my experience and strength and hope with them, and kind of, you know, yeah, just be there for them, and because really we need each other, you know what I mean? If we start competing and if we don't communicate with each other, then that's not going to be productive for anybody or any of us. So we all need each other to really get this back to what we want.